Hey, this is Jerry Fetta, owner, founder, and CEO of Wealth Dynamics, coming at you with another Thursday Thoughts here. And I want to talk just really quick before we get started. Okay, I want to make sure I have your attention for the next 30 seconds. There's a couple things I want you to know. So today, we're going to talk about how to handle criticism, right? Now, this is a video channel on my playlist that's about my thoughts every week. We've got a couple other ones that I want to direct you to. So if you're watching this and you're like, that's awesome, I'm doing well, I want to learn, let's say, about fitness, okay? I want you to go to the Fitness Friday playlist and you can learn more about health and fitness. That's something I'm giving free value on. We've got Sales and Marketing Saturday. We've got Sunday services where we cover a service every single Sunday. Monday, we do Mini Mogul Monday with my godson, Sammy. We talk about finances, 4 kids, buy a kid. And then Tuesday tips, and then we have our Wealth Wednesdays. So part of what I'm talking about today is going to be the criticism thing, but there's a lot of other stuff on the channel. Now, the other thing, last thing here, I want you to stay to the very end of the video, okay? At the very end of the video, I'm gonna give you a special tip on how I handle criticism in my life so that it has zero effect over me. All right, welcome back to our Thursday Thoughts. We're talking criticism today, right? So if you're watching, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a friend of mine, you're a client of mine, maybe one of my critics is watching, maybe you're one of my haters. It's good to see you back here again, okay? They tend to frequent the videos more than everyone else because they gotta find something to hate on, right? So what is a critic? Why do people get criticized? How do you handle it, right? This is something we've all come up with in life where people criticize our thoughts, our beliefs, differences, what we do, what we don't do, right? And so the first thing I want to cover here is if you have ever experienced criticism, what that means is you're actually in the arena doing something. Okay, people who do nothing don't get criticized. So before you even get into like, why am I being criticized or how do I handle it, right? I want you to actually have a win on it. Like the fact that I'm being criticized means I'm actually doing something, and I'm doing something to a big enough degree that I get noticed. I get attention. Right? Other people are now watching me. I have now collected spectators, right? Like a critic, that's the first thing they are, is they're a spectator. They watch someone else's game rather than playing their own. So you've collected an audience. To have criticism, prior to that, you've got to have someone watching you. Okay? Now, so that's the first thing, right? The only way to not get criticized is not be in the arena. Okay, now here's the first thing I want to cover on like why people get criticized. This is what I've looked at. This is my thoughts on this. There's really only 3 things that cause someone to get criticized. Okay, the first one is, like I said, you're actually doing something, right? All of us have that in common. If we're receiving criticism, you're thinking big, you're acting big, you're creating results, you're moving things around, and someone's noticing and they're protesting that. Right? Protesting means they're speaking up against it. They're saying, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. You could have done this differently. You did that wrong. You did this. You did that. These whiny, naggy little critics start coming up, right? Now, the second reason and third reason, these ones are all alternatives, okay? Someone only gets criticized after the thing of they're actually doing something for 1 of 2 reasons. First reason is those that are criticizing you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. They lack the understanding on you and your mission and your goals and the activities you're doing. Okay, and that's why they criticize. People tend to criticize things they don't understand, right? And so we have to think about when we're being criticized, like we're living in a population of more and more people on a regular basis understand less and less about life. Right? The intelligence level and the awareness level of the average human being has dropped substantially over the decades. If you pick up a book from the 1940s and 50s and you look at the words that were being used back then versus the words that are being used now, right? People can't even do books. We need pictures and videos with captions and cartoons that pop up in on a 15-second TikTok, or we can't understand and learn. That's the average population you're dealing with. So if you've ever seen the movie Idiocracy, right, you almost have to mock up a little bit like there's a group of the population that's growing in size that's kind of like that. Okay, and my response to that can be 1 of 2 things. My response to that can be, I'm going to continue on with my message, and I'm going to realize criticism is just part of the journey of being in the arena. Right? The great quote from Teddy Roosevelt, he talks about it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who remarks when the strong man falls or says how he could have done better. It's the man that's in the arena. That's who matters. Or the woman that's in the arena. So if you're being criticized, it means you're working, you're in the arena. You're the one that matters, not the critic. Okay, and it means, again, they don't understand what you're doing. So you can say, okay, well, I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing in the arena, and I'm going to introvert, and I'm going to worry about what people think of me and what they say. Or I can say, hey, I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to realize this is a great example that was pointed out to me. Let's think about like the presidential candidates when you get down to the final two, right? Usually the guys, the people running for president, they don't win by a landslide. They win by like 1 or 2 percentage points. Okay, so that means that like 52% of people voted for this dude, 48% of people voted for that dude. The 48 people that voted for this dude didn't want this dude to win. They're critics of him. So if you can get half the country to criticize you, you have odds of being a presidential candidate. Right? The presidential candidates, they don't say, oh, I should stop and do less because I'm being criticized. Right? They know their mission, they know their purpose, they keep going. They don't really listen to the other half. Okay? So I can continue that way. Or the other thing I could do in this scenario is I could look around and say, okay, I'm dealing with people that have a lower level of understanding, a lower level of responsibility, a lower level of awareness of life and surroundings and what I'm doing. And so when they see it, they don't understand it. Maybe I need to dumb down what I'm doing so that it can be more easily understood. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you which one you need to pick because that's up to you. For me personally, my audience, my staff, my clients, my teammates, my partners, my allies, the ones that I really want to roll with, that are in the arena with me, they're not the kind of people that attack something they don't understand. Okay, so I actually use this as a like I want criticism. I want a critic to identify themselves so I can cut them off from my environment and say, get out. Right? Now, it doesn't mean I'm putting my attention on them and I'm going to stop playing my game to go deal with the critic, but I take notice. I win, I see who didn't clap. Okay? And when I lose, I see the people that are, they're spreading rumors and trying to give me sympathy and telling me the criticisms and all this stuff. Like, I notice that. And so I'm going to continue on with my message. I'm going to choose option number 1. I'm going to flourish and prosper and just understand that ankle biters are part of the game. Right? Mosquitoes are part of going in the woods. Put on some bug spray and deal with it. Okay. Now, the other reason that there's criticism, and this is the one that's more important to know about, it's not the people who don't understand that you need to be thinking about the most and putting your attention on. When you're doing something great, there are those in your life, whether those are people or groups, that are going to feel threatened by it. Right? You're doing something good, and you winning makes them feel like they're losing. And where they're losing or they feel like they're losing, they feel threatened. Now, this is scarcity mind at its finest. The idea that in order for me to win, it means you have to lose. And if you're winning, it means I'm losing and that there's not enough to go around. That's scarcity mindset at its finest. And there are people that have this. And so they're going to see that you're doing something good. They're going to see that you're succeeding. They're going to see that you're helping others. And they have the innate desire to stop you from doing it because they're afraid of what might happen if you win. They think they're going to lose as a result. And so they have to criticize you and they have to try and pull you down, hoping that you will engage with them, right? Hoping that you will slow down, you will shrink. Okay, these are the ones that you really have to make sure you get out of your circle, they're out of your arena, right? So these are really the reasons people get criticized. There might be another one that's kind of a mix between the two, and I'll go ahead and point this out, is when someone criticizes when you're doing something that's right, that's good, that's actually helpful, that's successful, generally, they're doing that because they're trying to make sense of why they're not doing it too. They have to make you wrong in order to feel more right. Okay, they know that they should be trying to succeed. They know that they should be trying to do better in their lives. And so and since they're not, rather than stepping their game up, they're going to criticize you about it, right? So these are really the reasons why someone criticizes. Now let's talk about the critic for a second and what's actually happening in their world. Right? So when you experience someone criticizing you for what you think or do, or you're building your business and you have friends that are like, you promote too much on social media or you do this too much, slow that down. Okay, the first thing to realize is they're in fear. Right? People don't win when they're in fear. They don't give good advice when they're in fear. When they're in fear, they try and, keep things from happening and they try and avoid risk and they try and keep their environment safe and calm. Okay? The second thing is, in order for them to see something in you that they don't like, it has to first exist within their own world. So anything that someone criticizes you about, they're doing that or worse in their own life, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have the, I need to attack that person. They wouldn't be aware of it. They're not doing it, right? So whenever I see someone criticizing, I automatically know, okay, what they're doing is far worse than what they're trying to criticize me for. Okay, they're trying to take their own bad actions and project that onto someone else so they feel better about themselves. Okay, and then the other part to look at with a critic, back to the man in the arena thing, they're not in the arena. They're spectating. Okay, this is the overweight guy on the easy chair with his pants unzipped and a bag of potato chips talking about how the football players should have played better. And he's never actually played a game of his own. Right? And so there's not a lot of credibility that the opinion of a critic has. And that really is something that I look at is they're not winning, right? If they're not playing their own game, they're watching mine, that's a spectator. Right? That's a spectator. They're watching the game. They're watching my game, and that means they're not playing their own game. And so 1-for-1, you can look at critics and you can see their stats are down. Right? They're not winning with their finances. They have a broken relationship. They're overweight. They're whatever. You can look at their life and you can actually see this person is a down stat. Okay, and a down stat is going to criticize an up stat, someone that's doing well, in order to make sense of their own stats being down, rather than just putting their own gear on and going in their own arena and confronting their own life. They're going to try and pull down others' lives so that they can feel more comfortable staying in mediocrity or losing. Okay, so how do you handle a critic? I said I would talk about this at the end of the video. This is what I do. Okay, the first thing I do is I promote more. Okay, when I get criticized, I realize shit's working. Right? What I'm doing is making an effect. I'm going to do it more. I'm going to do it louder. I'm going to continue now because I'm actually getting attention. Realize for every one critic you have, you probably have 5 or 10 fans. Right? Like probably a 5-to-1 ratio. If I've got one guy complaining, I've got 5 that love me. Okay, and the thing is, the ones that love you, they might not always say it. You don't always hear them. They're not going in your comments and telling you like the critic does. The critic, think about this, the critic has to make sure you know, either through themselves or through other people, that they don't approve of your actions. They're not giving you a solution. They're not saying, here's how I can help you, here's how I can help you fix it. They're just making sure that others know and that you know that they don't like what's happening. They don't agree with it. Okay, now the part to think about on this is that reality is agreement, right? How someone perceives their environment comes down to their intelligence and their awareness level. So someone with low intelligence and someone with a low awareness level, they're not going to be able to perceive the environment in a way that's actually accurate and true. So they're going to look at your actions and be able to see just inside their tiny little tunnel vision, and they're going to take it and they're going to try and validate it against their own reality, which, keep in mind, is very small, and it's not going to make sense with their own reality, so that's where they're going to go attack it. Right? And so I look at all of this and I say, okay, do I really need to attack the critic? No, I need to keep doing the thing that caused me to get criticized in the first place, because every person that complains that I can get to talk bad about me, there's 5 that I got to talk good about me that appreciate what I'm doing. Okay? The second point on how to handle critics is I basically promote the good I'm doing. You have to toot your own horn in this world. You need to let people know the good you do, because a critic, what they're going to do is they're never going to usually be direct, right? A critic usually doesn't have the balls to actually come and talk to you. They're going to be a coward about it. Like, they're going to be a coward, and the other thing to realize is if they're a coward, they're also going to lie, right? So most of what they're saying isn't going to be true. But they're going to go tell it to other people. They're going to go tell it to your friends or to your clients or those that they know they're in your environment. And they're going to say these little whispers about you and try and get people to believe whatever they're trying to get them to believe, to create this environment of, those that believe their message, because the more people that believe them, they're going to feel more safe and protected in their own little tiny universe and reality by trying to make you smaller. Okay? So I'm going to promote what I do well. I'm going to start promoting, like, I'm doing this well, I'm doing that well, I helped this person, I achieved that, so that my following, my friends, my network, they see the reality of what's actually happening. They see my statistics. Okay? Now, the other portion of this is you could attempt to discredit the critic, right? Like, if you know who it is and you want to confront them on it, you can. But again, they're in fear. They're very low on their confront. They're not going to be interested in a one-on-one conversation. And here's really what I want to wrap up on, because there are critics in life for sure, right? But there's also people that actually want to help. And I want to share with you, how do you tell the difference? Okay? So someone that's criticizing, just empty criticism, they're going to talk about, and even if they're technically right? Like, let's say they say, hey, you posted this and it was offensive. Okay, I had one of that. You posted this and it hurt my feelings. Okay, that guy could have totally been right. Right? Now, I'm not the feelings police. I'm not in charge of how people feel when they see a Facebook post. If they don't like it, they can unfollow. Right? But there was no, here's what you could have done better. There's no, let me help you improve. None of that. There's just, I didn't like this. You made me feel bad because of my own subjective feelings of how I interact with a piece of words on my phone. I need to let you know now. Right? And then I'm going to go cry to mama. Okay, and that's a critic. Like, I don't have any help. There's no one-on-one like, hey, I really care about you. I want to make sure that you're doing well. I noticed this. It wasn't quite right. And so I felt this way. Others may have as well. And I want to just, I want to help you do better. Okay, that one's not a critic. That's a person that actually cares about you. And here's how you tell is, are they giving you solutions and are they offering to help? Okay, someone that brings up a problem or something they didn't like and they're not giving me solutions, they're not offering to help. And the third one is they're not coming to me directly. So they're not offering a solution, they're not trying to help, and they're not coming to me directly. It means that they're a whiny, bitchy critic, right? And that's someone that I'm not going to listen to. Automatically, everything they say to me is not true. They didn't have the balls to come talk to me. Now, those that are like, hey, I'm going to come talk to you, right? I'm going to point out something, but I'm going to give you a solution. And I'm also going to help, right? Like, I love that. And even if it's a hard conversation, just because someone brings up something you don't like doesn't mean they're a critic. Right? Look at their intention. What are they actually doing? Like let's say that I actually am doing something that's not good and I don't realize the effect I'm creating, and it's maybe a sensitive thing, and someone says, hey, I care enough about you to say, this isn't right. I want to sit down. I want to show you why it's not right and how you can improve and give you solutions and help because I want to see you improve. Okay, critic does not want to see you improve. Someone that's a friend does want to see you improve, and it's going to be a one-on-one interaction, right? So that's everything that you should know about this. Final point on this, don't be a critic. Okay, if you're in the arena, you don't have time to criticize. You don't have time to do that to other people because you're so focused on your own game. And I would add that if you have time to notice the critics, you're not working hard enough. Okay, so those are my tips for you. I hope that this helps you. Don't be a critic. Don't listen to the critics. Keep on in the arena. Keep it up because it's about you and what you do in the arena, not what about other people think. Be sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.